Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to the LP channel and more Batman Arkham City DLC. This is Extreme Challenges Armored Edition, so you guys really wanted to see Armored Batman from the Wii U Batman Armored Edition. He has no abilities from the Wii U version for the Nintendo Switch. It's just the costume, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you like the costume, cool. You guys voted for it, so but that's what the costume is. Uh, Yeah, hey people. I've been kind of running myself ragged with all the Suicide Squad stuff. Like, I recorded a lot last night, and, yeah. And then tonight I need to do a little bit of editing. I need to do a topic video on the, LP channel as well. Do some type of pop. Hey, honey. Cute wifey. So we have the, what is this, a Batcave thing? What is this one? Black Mask campaign. So at 11 o'clock tonight, guys, there is a YouTube short of that I filmed last night of Zelda not letting me sleep. It's kind of cute, but she was in our room messing around, so that'll go up at 11 o'clock. You can see that she's kind of a little pain. Survival. Where are we? Ruthless Vengeance. Ruthless Vengeance. Okay.
Yep, and everyone helped me unlock Snake in Fortnite.
Well, it's not just that the game stresses me out. There are a lot of games that stress me out, but it has to do with like how long it took to record the Suicide Squad and then edit it. It's not like I just have to record the Suicide Squad. I also have to edit the episodes afterwards. So the editing is it takes a while.
It doesn't yeah, I mean there's a lot of games that are stressful, like but it takes so long, especially when the servers are crashing. It's the amount of time that it takes, basically. So Luke actually hasn't had a lot of sleep because it takes a tremendous amount of time. It's like the game I'm playing, like the one where I have to do tons of grinding. That takes a tremendous amount of time to stream.
Well, I can tell people. So a few nights ago when I killed Batman, defeated him in the Batcave, there was something that I came across that was very frustrating because it is a live service game. So for whatever reason, our internet went out right in the middle of the Batman boss fight. And do you know what the game does afterwards? It doesn't take you back to the Batman boss fight. It takes you back to the beginning of the Batcave level. So I had to go through the turn off the Scarecrow switches again, and then like I had to fight the Batman again, and it was, you know, it was nasty. I did manage to beat him with Deadshot, but the internet does go out during my fight with King Shark. Like when I was playing as King Shark, it cuts out, and I was furious. So I mean, that's the problem with live service games, though, is like if something happens, you're out of luck. So I had to start all over again, and I was pretty annoyed. I was pretty mad. I wasn't even paying attention to the Batman fight when it was Deadshot. I was just angry. Cause yeah. Yeah. So that was annoying because basically I had to start over again. So I mean, if that, you know, I was the whole time I was doing the ending of the game, I was just like, you know what, I'm done with the game until March. I'm just gonna make news videos about it. I have a news video going up. I think it's tomorrow, talking about the reviews on Metacritic and how poorly the game is doing. And that was just like a 10-minute voiceover, and I just literally threw clips together, so that wasn't any problem. And then I have a video about a rumored Nintendo Direct going up on this channel. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing behind the scenes.
And I guess people were saying that Shredder is coming to Fortnite on Friday.
So we'll take care of Shredder on Friday then.
I mean, actually, the snake that we unlocked today is actually the one that I think of as Snake.
Solid, Metal Gear Solid Snake, yeah.
The one that's older, I'm not used to that one. I'm used to the younger Snake.
No worries. Yeah.
You had to hide in a box 5 times in 5 different matches. I don't think I could, but that was some of the quests you had to do. So
makes sense.
Everybody was helping me out with that, which was nice.
Yeah. That's good. Alright guys, your first like goal is 100
Bring it
likes.
on.
Let's see if we can do that for Armored Batman, because we're playing as Armored Batman.
This'll
There
be
he is.
easy, Bat.
You can do if you want. You could do a quest. You're supposed to do like some kind of heist on a train or something, but you can't do it in Team Rumble. You'd have to do it like
Hurt that.
in another thing, either like solos or something.
In order to get Old Snake.
I don't know. It's like I think it's the glider. You get the glider possibly. I
Oh,
don't
it's
know.
not even to get Old Snake. Okay.
Yeah, we're not even we're just on page 2 of the quest.
Ah.
So we haven't even got the glider. I've got his knife. I got
Cool.
his goggles.
You fools are going down.
The loading screen with a picture of him. And we got the little exclamation mark that goes "What?" So, and then of course Snake.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's free.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Blue's Cat did a super chat. I forgot to say.
Well, thank you, Blue's Cat.
On that last stream, and also we had Victor, Gio, and Jacob Orion, and a couple other people helping with that. So thank you guys.
Oops. Man, that guy's a monster.
You have to complete at least 5 of the second page to unlock Old Solid Snake. Oh, okay. So we were really close on it.
Really close on this one. Really close.
Maybe we can even do part of it off camera or something.
Maybe.
Since we already did a stream.
This
of
is
it.
not
Yeah, so
going
we'll
to be
change.
pretty.
We'll change. To Solid Snake.
We'll change it to younger.
We'll change it to Younger Snake for the
You're gonna
thumbnail.
die,
I'll get
Zach.
around to it. I threw it together.
No, you thought I was gonna. I mean, that's what I was aiming to.
Mm-hmm. What are you aiming for?
You're gonna die.
What are we aiming
Batman.
for?
Well, I'm on help Luke stay awake duty all
You're gonna
night. I was
die
gonna go to
here.
sleep, but apparently I have to stay up now. Yes, I do, because you're exhausted and you have to do that. You're gonna be up all night.
Yeah, I am gonna be up all night because I have to edit. I need to do some topic videos because both the O1 channel and the Let's Play channel need it. Like the O1 channel is slipping because like, what's so funny is the haters over there. They said the only reason I was doing Suicide Squad was to get clout and stuff like that and get lots of views playing the game, but I'm only getting barely like
There's no
3,000
views at
views.
all.
Yeah, 3,000 views an episode.
No, you were just covering it because that's what you do with every game.
The-
You just play the game.
The news that I was doing, like the news on Suicide Squad was getting more views and
Yeah.
attention. Like,
There's no. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's just you as a journalist covering it and looking at it, and then you know, later on when people are like, how do you know? You never played the game yourself. And you're like, I did play through the game. Like, it's
yeah,
just
it's like,
normal.
well, why did you buy the game just to hate on it? It's like they keep changing their
You
argument.
actually never hated on it, though.
I don't like the story though.
I don't have time
Yeah,
for this.
You're
Let's
allowed
make it
to
quick.
not like parts of the game.
Oh no, you're not. No,
That's not hate. It's just saying.
no,
some
that's
things you don't
their
like about
that's
it.
their definition of hate now. You're not allowed. You have to, in order for you to like something, you can't question anything about it.
That doesn't. I don't know what age of. That's. Well, then why does everyone yell about Smash Brothers and saying what character they wish was in the game and which they wish they would change it, or they wish there was items, or they wish they bring back the old stages? Then isn't that hate for Smash Brothers? You can't really just. So, but people complain about every game. I don't understand why it's just games that do terrible in their sales that you think.
I don't know. I don't really know what it is because I mean,
Because companies like Nintendo, people always are hating on that. I'm saying, like how can you do these games?
my definition of like people hating on games was like back in the day where people would make videos screaming, like people making well-formulated arguments and actual structure to their videos and organizing their thoughts and stuff like that. It didn't seem like
I really think.
hate.
I think if you're willing to buy the game and play it, then you can't possibly hate it. Maybe that's what they're mad about, is that they want to say you hate the game, but in reality you bought the game and you played through it just to check it out. So you can't hate it if you bought it. Well, you could buy it and then wish you hadn't bought it later and then hate it. But initially, if you're trying to give the game a chance, then that's, you buy it, you're trying to give it a chance.
No, I wasn't giving it a chance. I just, I knew the gameplay would be fun. And it was an interesting concept. The story was terrible. The story for me never improved. It only continued to get worse.
It's not so much you hate it, it's just it's the same with everyone else playing the game. They just don't like the story.
The Batcave.
There's lots of things that...
The Batcave is actually not in Gotham. It's underneath Metropolis, and it's a satellite Batcave, but it's so empty. Like there's nothing there. There's no Batmobile. There's no trophies. There's nothing.
This is exactly what happened when we did Gotham Knights. Was people did this whole stuff like, oh, people are gonna hate the game, blah blah blah. Games comes out, the people that praised it like crazy, they played it for like a week, and then they were done playing it, and we were playing it for months on end, trying to do everything in it. So like, it's that old thing where somebody says
You want some?
I would say you probably showed more love for Gotham Knights than anyone else. You showed it more respect than anyone else on the other channel. Because you actually played it longer than anyone else. In fact, compared to how long everyone else played Gotham Knights, our channel would be considered a super fan of Gotham Knights.
I suppose. Alright. Fists of Fury. Take down a henchman with a beatdown. That's easy. Human Cannonball. Shoot an armored henchman with the REC gadget to send him flying into another henchman. Use the freeze cluster to immobilize 3 or more henchmen at one time. Upgrade is required. Okay. Which story do I think is more impactful? Like that DC wrote, Nightfall or The Death of Superman? Death of Superman. I think Dan did a better job than... Who was it? Chuck Dixon that paralyzed Batman? I thought paralyzing Batman was a pretty horrific thing, but Batman lived through it.
Have constructed a cerebral puzzle of such ingenuity
Dan Jargon or Jurgen or whatever you want to call him, he wrote...
Don't cry.
It had never been done before, like to that extent, like The Death of Superman. That was a big deal. Everybody was talking about it. I have that comic book, like one of the first releases of it, and it's never been open. It's like I have one actual sealed copy of The Death of Superman that my grandfather got for me, and it's never been taken out of its box or out of its like sleevelet, so it's perfect. I just don't know if it survived. We had some basement flooding last year, and it was in a trunk, so
it may or may not be in the... It's either down there or it's in the... Or it's in the, or it might be in the storage locker, I don't know.
Yeah, but that was a big deal, The Death of Superman. That was an incredibly big deal. Like, I would say it was more impactful on DC overall than breaking Batman's back, because DC tried to replace Batman with Jean-Paul Valley and Nightwing, and it didn't do the same thing that The Death of Superman, like, created this whole multi-book crossover with every DC character. Every DC character was impacted by The Death of Superman, and then like 6 months later, I think it was 6 to 8 months later, with Batman breaking his back, they tried to make it another big DC event, but most of the DC characters, from what I remember, didn't really have that same reaction because Batman was still alive. It's just they didn't like Jean-Paul Valley, or they didn't like Jean-Paul's methods. But for the most part, it didn't have that same like substantial weight to it. It wasn't like this, oh my gosh, Batman's gone. Because, I mean, Dick Grayson was... You saw him pop up more, and Robin was kind of a solo hero now. So, I mean, there were some changes that happened because of it, but it wasn't to that grand scale.
Doubles Blight says, you literally said everything I was thinking about this whole thing. That's when we were talking about Suicide Squad.
Ah.
Yeah, thank you, Doubles Blight. Appreciate that. Daniel says, mostly watched your Gotham Knights playthrough because I knew you guys would make fun of the game. You know what we were kind of doing? It wasn't that we were hating on it. It was like we were being Mystery Science Theater 3000, and we were kind of
doubt
like
you'll survive
joking
for
around
long,
about it.
Oh, riffing it? Yeah.
Just like we did for Lego games, we'd be like, we were like, wait, why would he leave Robin here? Is he like a human shield? Like, we were talking about games how we always do. It's just that people for Suicide Squad are just so overly sensitive that they can't take any jokes about their game because so many other people hate it, I think. Because we actually joke about even games we like. We kind of like rag on them.
So, there's a lot of stuff to add to the controversy that Warner Brothers is doing. So apparently Rocksteady had Steam remove like 5,000 reviews on Steam about the Suicide Squad that were negative.
What? How could they do that?
Apparently they can do that. So, yeah, Steam, like, erased
5,000 negative reviews?
5,000 negative, unfavorable reviews were removed from Steam. Yep.
Wow, that's
Explosive
crazy.
prime.
And, you know, the Metacritic score of, the Metacritic score of Suicide Squad continues to go down, like, not just from users. Users it was 4, I think it's 3 now. And that's after, like, 1,000 reviews of users. The Metacritic average, like, for the game now, Gotham Knights Metacritic average was, I believe, 67 after 2 years. It is close to 60 now for Suicide Squad, and that's worldwide. And that's after about 45 actual publications have reviewed it.
And I really think even they were trying to be nice.
Um,
I feel like people are trying to be nice in their reviews so they don't get in trouble, so that's even trying to be nice, I think.
the publications that gave it a score, like, I've been hearing, because I have international game journalist friends. I don't just have, like, people in the United States. I have a guy in Korea who's a friend of mine, who's, like, a former, not user. Not user, he's not, like, a Tron person. He's a former viewer of ours. He lives in Seoul.
Fight for the users.
Yeah, I accidentally did a Tron thing. So he's a person who grew up watching us, and then he became a game journalist in Seoul. And he was talking to me, and he was saying, you know, I probably give the game like a 5 or 6 because he says, for the most part, he says, I'm noticing, and I heard your voice in my head, it seems like a lot of these bosses appear like they're from either Gotham Knight, or not, yeah, Gotham Knights, Arkham, and Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight DLC. Yeah, they did just reuse stuff. So I was like, wow, I mean, because I actually, because I haven't aired my Batman video yet. Because then when I'm fighting my Batman video, I'm like, wow, why is it this Batman Nightmare guy reminds me so much of that DLC with a giant Scarecrow and the Bat Tank? The only difference is instead of not having a Bat Tank and avoiding all of Scarecrow's attacks, you're inside of the tank, but when you're fighting Batman, you're on foot as your player. But you have to avoid obstacles just like the Scarecrow fight. In fact, it's very similar. Like, you have this giant, you know, big opposing fear figure, and you have to shoot him. That's the same thing as Arkham Knight.
Yeah, and I also noticed it was weird that they put in the tapes. Because why would you need tapes of people, since in the Arkham tapes you needed Hugo Strange's tapes. And before that, you had, like, the tapes of, like, the recordings of people in the Asylum. So why would you need tapes in Arkham? Like, there was no reason for the tapes. They just carried that over from Arkham Knight and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were just reusing. They were basically following the formula of what the other Rocksteady team did, but with no real purpose. It's just like, okay, I guess we're gonna put tapes in here.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like for no reason at all. Why would you need to add tapes? Audio tapes for what reason? Like, it doesn't, there's no, like, it's just like for no reason, and the content, it's just...
You fools are performing
Why
at
is
a
there
level
not coming to check this
significantly
guy?
below
Didn't I just
what
take
I'd
him down?
expected.
Ashton says, my name is Ashton.
Hi, Ashton.
When I was 7 years old, I discovered your channel playing Batman Arkham City when I was typing Batman on YouTube. At 7 years old. Thank you for making me love Batman. I am now 20 years old. Awesome, Ashton. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but you guys have to remember that Sweet Baby Incorporated did some of the narrative for Spider-Man 2. Like, the entire... They wrote... it's coming out now. I don't know if people even care about this, but... the section with Miles Morales, like, all the school missions... And, like, the random change to Black Cat from the previous game, they did that. Like, they added that stuff. They are adamantly talking about that, because they're like, they're trying to defend themselves over the Suicide Squad. They're like, you have no idea what we did for the Spider-Man game, because they are credited for the Spider-Man game, but they didn't say what they actually did. So they changed some of the narrative
now
for
they're
Mary
admitting
Jane.
all the things
Yep.
that they did.
It was just speculation before because they were credited.
But the thing is, that doesn't make them look like good people. It makes them... It just proves what we already thought. That they ruined parts of Spider-Man. Because, no offense, but like I already said about Spider-Man before, a lot of people were playing the game and it was a big draw because Black Cat, and you imagine yourself as Spider-Man if you're a male player playing the game thinking, oh yeah, this would be, you know, really cool if Peter could end up with Black Cat. Oh man, she's so, you know, whatever people say she is.
Oh shoot.
Good looking and, you know, smexy and everything. It's just like, of course, like, it's a huge draw to the male audience. As soon as you make her not, you know, into guys, then people aren't into Black Cat anymore. Also, it takes away her personality. She was super flirty with Peter last time. It made it super fun and interesting, and it made, like, a dynamic, like, oh no. Made it like a love triangle thing, and when you took that away, she was completely uninterested.
Yeah, let's move
I
on.
always knew I was
But yeah,
better
they
than
said
you.
that they have, you know, they did narrative changes. They did the Homecoming thing. They did the Black Cat thing, and they did some other the more annoying stuff about Spider-Man 2. They did.
Yeah, let's see. Blight, hello, Devil's Blight says, I am not surprised that they removed the negative reviews. This has been going on for quite a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I messed up. I was trying to
mean, everything they're mentioning now, I really hope they mention more games and keep outing themselves on every game that they've made changes. You know, because, like, I hope then it really comes to light, because, like, people have been saying for years that they probably made all these weird changes to the game, and they were like, and people were like, no, the developers wanted to do that. And it's clear that they, you know, didn't. Like, you know, obviously they were forced to do it by another company. But how could you... Why would you pay another company to ruin your game? That's what I don't understand. Like, here I am. I made this phenomenal game with a great storyline. And now I'm going to pay someone to rip up my game, like Josh Whedon, and ruin it. like they did this... Like they did the Justice League movie. It just doesn't make any sense. Like,
there's a reason.
There's no reason. Why would you pay someone to ruin the game?
I
like,
doubt you'll
here,
survive
check
for
out
long,
my game,
Batman.
see what
A
you
simple
feel is
mistake will be all
inappropriate,
it
and then
takes.
take the storyline that I wrote that was based on heart and the comic books and my own, you know, it was like my artistic, creative, like, storyline that I made and worked on for months or, you know, over a year, and I want you, someone who doesn't know the characters, to randomly rip apart my storyline and add in things that you think would be more appropriate. Not more fun, not more entertaining, not more fun to play, not more riveting or exciting to the story, but more appropriate. Let's make everything appropriate.
To determine the
It's like,
smartest
well,
cretin
if
in
it's
the room.
appropriate, then it won't be
Whoever
fun
outsmarts the
anymore.
Batman.
No offense.
You don't understand though that these people already ruined comic books. Though. They go these writers and these people, what they do is they migrate from hobby to hobby. Like right now, like most of those SJWs that ruin comic books, they're trying to get into the action figure field, and they're trying to censor female action figures. They're not being very successful though, because one of the high-profile people responsible for messing up DC Comics went and they moved over to a not anime, a sculpting company or an action figure company that deals with very smexy anime figurines. And they tried to change stuff, and the studio fired them. Like, and then she tried to make a big deal about it and say that she was trying to do this and that, and it ended up blowing up in her face because, like, the pendulum is switching back. So, and now people are aware that these people, they keep going from hobby to hobby to hobby, and they would rather burn it all down than just, like, you know, move on to the next thing peacefully. Like, if they can't change an industry, they try to make up all this stuff to try to get it taken down. So then she started saying all these terrible things about the action figure people behind the scenes and how like
That's
they just
rude.
make stuff for the male gaze. But it blew up in her face, and she doesn't have a job anymore.
Yeah, you would make stuff for the male gaze. That's what sells. I mean, what? Why wouldn't
Right.
you?
Right. If you don't understand the business you're in, don't be in that business. Exactly. But I mean, you know, it just proves a point, though, that they go from TV, film, comic books, video games. Now they're trying to get into anime and action figures. Like, they're not being as successful as the transition from comic books to video games was very seamless for their ideology and for them controlling and messing with people.
Yeah.
But when they're actually trying to attack Japan, because this is a part of Japan's subculture, they're not succeeding as much. There are some companies that are bowing down to them, but it's not as
I doubt
big
you'll
as it
survive
was
for
in the
long,
West.
Batman.
So they're
A
getting
simple
some
mistake
pushback,
will
which
be all
annoys
it
them.
takes.
So then they go and they make up stuff about their employers, and their employers fire them.
Yeah. What? Yeah. That's
Whereas
horrible.
in America,
so manipulative.
in America, when you say stuff about your employer, usually you can get away with it. In Japan, if you try to say bad things about the people you work for, they don't take it like as any type of criticism. They fire you.
Yeah, because it's like a family in Japan. You're supposed to look out for each other. At
No,
the
working
workplace.
is a big deal in Japan. So like if
Yeah.
you work at the difference between us, you know, like in America or in parts of Europe, if you have a job you hate, like it's not looked down upon if you actually go to another job. Like if you like are at a job you don't like for a year or two and you know give your notice and you go somewhere else, that's totally normal. That's part of our culture. In Japan, you work at the same job that you were at until you die. Like, if you leave your job, it's considered, like, very taboo. And people always question, well, why did you leave? You were there for, like, 10 years. What happened? Why did you leave? You were there for 2 years. What happened? It's a part of their culture, like, they don't understand. Because jobs aren't supposed to be fun.
You were the best I could
Like,
find.
Right.
a job is a job. It's just something you do until you die. So they don't understand like why people would complain about their job because it's not called happy fun time, it's work.
Right.
So there's a completely different culture change. It's a shift for them. Now they don't mind when like foreigners who move there do that because that's how foreigners are. But Japanese people, they don't tend to leave their line of employment unless they really, really have to. Like it's either it's killing them or like they're not getting anything done. Like when Japanese game developers create their own company, it's kind of a big deal when they leave their already established one. That's why when Kojima and Inafune left both Capcom and Konami respectively, it was a big deal in Japan. And the fact that they became even more successful afterwards, that's a huge triumph for them. But also, you know, they kind of got shunned a little bit. You know? It's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yep. Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, like some people work at the same job forever, or like you have to have a really good reason basically to switch jobs. You can't just switch them willy-nilly.
Yeah, you have to have a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a different culture with.
So these people, like the cockroaches, essentially are migrating, trying to get into the Japanese stuff, like through not just localization, but they want to change the action figures, they want to change all kinds of aspects of the companies, and they're getting pushback, and they hate that. They hate being told no because they don't know how to deal with it. Why are these guys not actually coming out here? And I just literally did a loud takedown on that guy. What is happening? Like, I've never seen this. Usually you have, like, when a guy is literally passed out and you did a loud takedown, there's a whole group of people that's supposed to come out and investigate. Nobody cares. I need to freeze 3 guys at once. They're not investigating the body.
Do not let him scare you. He uses a
This is
simple
just,
collection
the
of
dude literally
theatrical
came
tricks
out here and
pantomime
scanned a
effects to strike
gargoyle and
terror
left.
into your
Nobody's
tiny
investigating
lizard
this.
brains.
What in the world?
All units, Batman is the target.
What? Try again.
Switching to thermal.
Like, I have to freeze 3 guys at once. How the heck am I supposed to do that if they don't come out and investigate?
No sign of target.
Makes no sense. You do a loud takedown, somebody's supposed to come actually after you and like, oh my gosh, you took down one of my guys. Somebody come investigate this. Nope, they don't care. Great. And they're not even lining in wait for me. Also, my detective vision is scrambled, so I can't do anything.
Don't lose focus.
But, I mean, part of the thing is right here, I'm supposed to do, see? It says, you have to freeze 3 henchmen at one time. And how can I do that if they're not coming out here?
AI got smart, says Jaker.
Switching
No,
to thermal.
that's not... I think the AI is busted. It's not AI being smart.
Yeah, it's
Vantage
like
point clear.
it's like
No sign of target.
well, it is a manipulative thing. Like if you disagree with your employer and then they don't go for what you're doing, and then you randomly make up lies about them at work, that's so manipulative and underhanded. Like, and it's odd that people do that in America a lot. Like they'll accuse their boss of like hating them because of
I can throw
who
these
they
fools
are,
your way
or
all
not
night,
being fair to them,
Batman.
or not giving
You
them
will
a break.
still not
or,
defeat me.
you know, and it's, you know, it's pretty messed up.
Vantage point clear.
Like that,
No
like
sign
we
of
have tons
target.
of HR departments here in the United States where it's like, if you have any problem, you can go and talk to them and try to, you know, work stuff out and go above their head. and
Switching to
stuff.
thermal.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's something wrong. I think that when they patch this game, they
Vantage
messed
point
something
clear.
up because
No
I
sign of
literally
target.
just blew up a bomb in their face. They don't care. They're not even investigating it. While the game runs faster, this mission got messed up. Because, I mean, how in the world am I supposed to...
Report. Any contact? Contact. Enemy device found.
Contact. Enemy device found. Target has vanished.
Explosive prime. Switch.
Alright, the only thing I can think of now...
Contact. Enemy device found. What the? Smoke.
Ouch! Well, we finally got... That took forever. So now we just need to take these guys out one at a time. Theoretically. I don't know how to do that. But they saw me. So... 32 minutes. Cold War. Yeah, but now we have to survive that, guys. Do you see how many of those people are? They're aware that I'm on the gargoyles now, too, so they're going to take away my ability to come after them.
Contact. Enemy device
I think.
found. Explosive prime.
Shoot.
Target spotted above us at my location. Target is lost. Move to location.
Yeah, he took down my gargoyle. Shoot.
Target in.
Ouch! No, 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 no! No!
Target neutralized.
Oh, I hate this mission.
This is hardly a surprise. I always knew I was better than you.
Oh! Jeez. I do not like this mission.
Alright, good to see you guys. Hi, Big Man JC. Hi, McCowboy. Hi, Mustafa. Hi, Nintendo Sun at Gamer Gal. Hi, Red Hood. Hi, Brandon Williams. Hi, Daffy.
Tiger guards do not investigate knocked out bad guys? Well, that's great.
Hey,
Well, thanks
Gio.
for letting me know.
Hi, Ruby. I hope you guys are doing well. Yep, guys, thanks for the 110 likes. Really appreciate that.
Bad parenting leads to Sweet Baby Incorporated. Entitled children leads to Sweet Baby Incorporated. Non-disciplined kids. Yeah.
You got this, Grandpa, says Sammy Berkey.
Thank you, Sammy.
I just shared on Facebook. Thank you, Charles Demers. Really appreciate that.
Oh, crap.
Target spotted.
I'm dead again. Yep, I'm host. That's very nice, Sonic Gamer Gal, but I think I've met my match with these guys. I had like one good run and then I messed up. Meh. Last retry. Got it, Grandpa.
Okay, thank you for the highlighted message, Charles Demers. Did I already read this? I enjoyed playing with you, Amber, in Fortnite. I am enjoying the stream so far. Hope you guys are having fun. Thank you for being a member for 6 months, Charles.
Having fun getting destroyed, yes.
Thank you for helping me in Fortnite. Really appreciate that so much. Thank you.
His armor is weak. I mean, we are playing on Extreme. You realize that.
Yep, thanks so much for being a member for 6 months, Charles. Thank you.
And the problem is my detective vision is scrambled, so I can't tell how many guys are actually in the vicinity or not.
Batman. A simple mistake.
It looks like there's several guys, like, right here.
All units, Batman is the target.
Like, this is really hard to do without detective vision.
Thank you, Devil's Blight. You're awesome. You're breathtaking, Devil's Blight. Thank you. You were awesome. You were also awesome, Devil's Blight. Thank you.
Wait, how is this gonna work?
So, you are the best. How unfortunate for me to have to rely on you to get this done. Thankfully, you still
Taking
have
two
me to
guys
guide
on a
you.
time is suicide.
Without my help, you would already have lost.
I guess we just have to be patient, but I mean... I probably shouldn't have fled from where I am.
Man down.
He actually, he summoned somebody. But he didn't summon the people to stay out here.
I would recommend doing a beatdown on the guy outside. Then everyone will go to where you are, and then you can do the ice thing. Okay, thank you, Jager.
Beatdown when outside?
No sign of target.
What medals were you trying to get against this M.A. Moreno?
These ones. Human Cannonball, Cold War, Fists of Fury. I almost had it, though. I just ended up getting messed up. I can't kill that guy because I need him.
Are you feeling the pressure?
Contact. Enemy device found.
Wow, the dude doesn't even care about his commander.
Target is still missing.
Try the sonic batarang, maybe, says Doubles Blade.
Contact. Enemy device found. Contact. Enemy device
Why are
found.
you guys not even...
I saw a
Switching to
funny
thermal.
TikTok of Batman beating up people for no reason.
Explosive prime.
This is Gio. Oh, wow.
Oh, that
Vantage
that one
point clear.
TikToker who
No
dresses
sign of
up as
target.
Batman with a beard. Yeah,
Watch your line
he's
of
funny.
sight. Stay on target. Don't lose focus.
It's gonna take some time.
Explosive prime.
I expected more than this. Not much more, granted. But still, more intellectual prowess than you are currently showing.
Vantage point clear. No sign of target. On me.
Nope, that was a bad idea. Who suggested the beatdown? Who suggested the beatdown? Yeah, I'm dead.
Target neutralized.
Well, that's game over.
This is hardly a surprise. I always knew I was better than you.
Oh, drat. Moving on. Oof. This is called Meltdown.
I am looking forward to Grand Theft Auto 6 more than Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, says Charles Demers. I mean, at least hopefully it'll be fun.
The thing is, I had a perfect run. I had a perfect run where I got them all grouped together and I shot them, but then I had no gargoyles left to escape, and that was it. I got two medals that one run. Froze all three guys into place, used the smoke pellet to disorient, and then I zapped the red guy and a bunch of other people, but I had no escape, so I just died. It was a smart idea, but the next area I went to, I had no way to get out of. It was death. There were just too many guys there. Smoke detector, mind your head, shock tactics.
Lack of gargoyles, says Chad said.
Yeah, there was lack of gargoyles in that last one.
One of the guys should be an armored guy, so I would shoot him with a REC to get the second. Oh, that was a while ago.
It's already over.
Sorry.
This is not going to be pretty.
I mean,
No way anyone's taking us out.
So what do we have here? Smoke detector. Use the smoke pellet to create a smoke cloud and take down a henchman as he panics in the smoke. Mind your head. Knock down a henchman with a batarang and then finish him off with a ground takedown. That's easy. Shoot a henchman with the REC gadget and cause him to fire into the air to scare another henchman. That's also easy.
how are you both doing, says PJ.
Doing okay, PJ. How you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you doing, PJ?
Yoink. And now we wait.
Let's see how you microscopically brained automatons perform. I am not expecting great things.
I'm taking down Batman from me. Screw Riddler.
We need a bunch of these guys to walk close together, and then we zap one of them.
Arkham City is just the beginning.
Usually they have to be walking like right next to each other to spook them. Bingo.
It came from over here, I'm sure of it. There you are, Bat.
Interesting Devil's Plates is nowadays I just play smaller or older games, less AAA games. I find more enjoyment than the newer ones.
Well, yeah, because they don't ruin them. I mean, what people don't understand is you can have a game with great gameplay, but if you go out of your way to ruin a story, it kind of muddles the experience. You know, it came to the point with Suicide Squad, I basically had to mute the game just to play it. I just couldn't stand it anymore. The only time I would listen to it is when there was an actual cutscene.
We need to keep looking or we're all dead. What's wrong? You too scared to show yourself?
Right, wait, how many of these guys do I... mind your head, knock down a henchman with a batarang. So I took down 2 of them, so how many are left?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
IPJs has been busy, and I'll do my best to make as many live streams.
Who will win?
No worries.
Obviously, that will be me. So,
2
who
left.
will lose first? You or
I
the
think there's
rat
5 in
that
total
pays
in
like
this
their
room,
lives
so...
depend on it.
Someone tell me where he is.
Do I have to throw one from Mind Your Head? Knock down a henchman. It doesn't say where to knock him down, right? Uh-oh. Someone tells me he saw me. Maybe.
What the hell are you, Batman?
What would you say? Daniel says, what would you say is the most important between story and gameplay?
I say gameplay is very important, but story is also like something that can make the experience better. But if you have a great story and you have terrible gameplay, the only thing you're going to remember is the story.
It's not like he doesn't keep getting his ass kicked by Batman, is it?
And there are some games like that. There are some games that actually have a really well done story, but the gameplay is terrible, so you can't even bother to play the game. Even though I hate Dark Tomorrow, I think that the story is very well written because it was written by a comic book author and a Final Fantasy author. However, just because the story is good and the characterization is spot on, the gameplay is unplayable. So, even with the little bit of things that I can say nice about Dark Tomorrow, because I can say a few things nice, the cinematics for its day were, you know, pretty impressive, and the storytelling was great, but the gameplay just bogs the whole experience down. It makes it the point, like, even those small little qualities that are, you know, important in an overall package, like, them by themselves is not enough to make it a game that's worth playing. Because at that point, you just go online and watch the cutscenes, you know, to experience the story. You don't need to actually play the game yourself. And they did spend a lot of money on the cutscenes. You could tell back then for a 2003 game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the cutscenes were pretty revolutionary for 2003.
But then they didn't spend money on the store, making sure the game was playable.
They didn't make sure the gameplay was good. They also hired the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra to do most of the music, but they could only afford for them to record like 4 music tracks. Then they had to get some cheap MIDI music for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it costs a lot to hire an orchestra. I mean, I've never hired one, but I've hired a string quartet. And, like, for our wedding, like, we had 2 choices. Pay like 4 professionals between $500 to $1,500 an hour each, times 4 for a wedding, and that includes any hours they need to practice, or pay 4 high school kids $100 each for the entire thing, including practice. So that's what I went with, and the high school kids did really well. It sounded fantastic. Like, that's a great tip, is like, if you want to hire a string quartet, always hire from a high school, because those high school kids are probably almost as good as professionals, because they're practicing extremely hard every day. And they probably sound fantastic, depending on how good the high school is. I'd love to see Dark Tomorrow remade, some plot but functional gameplay. Same plot, but functional gameplay. Yeah, definitely, M.A. Moreno. PJ says,
shoot.
I'm glad to be a fan of the Kwings. You guys are the best at making enjoyable content.
Ah!
Thank you so much, PJ, for the kind words.
He didn't panic. He didn't panic! Gotta do it again.
Yeah, I mean, like... I don't know why, but we had some people earlier that were like, I don't understand how certain things are ruined by adding things into it. It's mainly like, it's basically, it just makes the game unfun. The way that they add it in is just forced and unfun, like when they push stuff into a game.
You can
Sweet
tell.
Baby puts it into a game, you can tell because it's not fun anymore.
Okay, I can tell you the difference real quick. So the reason why a lot of these companies like Sweet Baby Incorporated aren't able to get a foothold in Japan, they actually did something that alienated and angered Japan creators, because these corporations, these consultant agencies, went over to Japan and they said there's not enough like representation in your show, and then Japan fired back and they said yes, that is, because the show takes place in Japan. Like we don't have a we don't have a ratio of a mixed like population like the United States.
Right.
So you cannot dictate us and tell us we have to insert characters from other countries when you're lucky that we even export our product to you.
It literally represents people that are in their country. That's
right.
What.
So the reason why, and then Japan's not going to turn around and say you're racist for saying that about us. They're just saying, like, our population doesn't include that. It is a small group of people. Like, majority of us are all Japanese. So that when we make our stuff, we are making things for our people. And then we are exporting our product. You cannot tell us what to do.
Yeah, like, if you made a game, if, like, a game company was in South America and, like, everyone there was, Hispanic in the game, it would make sense if the game takes place in a Hispanic town, like everyone would be Hispanic because that's what everyone is. There doesn't make. I mean, there may be some people that are have immigrated there, and there could be different types of people that are traveling.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of them aren't going to be.
But the thing is, these
shot.
companies demand respect and being kind to persons of color, but they're very rude to Japanese people.
It's like they don't comprehend that everything is not
about them.
And also the United States is such an immigrated, like everyone is an immigrant or
melting pot of cultures.
It's a melting pot of different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And, there are many different reasons why there's so many different cultures here and people. Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah, so the reason why they're getting blowback, which is good, because I applaud that, because these people need to be put in their place, is, when they go and they attack these game developers for, actually creating something they want to make and they're having a lot of fun, and then you have these wackos come in and tell them what to do, I'm really glad that some of them are actually standing up for themselves, like the Tekken director, because, they're lucky they're just making the product as is.
I mean, like, if I was them,
I'm sure it came from over
Japan
there.
should go back to what they did in that the Edo period of Japan where they cut themselves off from the entire world and they stopped trading with foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, actually China cut themselves off from the world for quite a while.
Yeah, but I mean, the world is not like that anymore, but you cannot force people to... There's something known as, like, tact. And, you also need to be respectful to the country of origin where the product is being made. Like, Americans have this idea that they're allowed to dictate and order people what to do. You're not. Especially, like, if you're in your own country, you can make whatever product you want. There's no problem with that. But you can't go to another, like, Asian country where, obviously, most of the video games and products are going to be catered to the Asian population. That's just how it is. You can't force globalization if they don't want to. You can't shame them and stuff like that. The biggest thing with Japanese people, what they hate, is they hate being disrespected.
Yeah, it is disrespectful to randomly accuse somebody of having a bad intention when obviously they were not intending anything bad, and like they're just it's just the whole thing. Evil people always, they always accuse people of crap.
Of course.
That's the main thing they do, is falsely accuse.
They gaslight people.
That's like the main thing they do, is accuse, and then I mean, that's the...
No. They don't just accuse. Then when you fire back at them, then they play victim.
But that's exactly how abusers act. Like, they accuse you, like, oh, I see. You're trying to do something without my permission. Like, oh, I see. You hate me. It's like, oh, no, I don't hate you. Oh, then you'll stay here night and day and you won't go to college. And you'll never leave this house, and you'll whatever. Like, I'm just saying the way that people talk about it online. I'm not talking about from experience or anything, but I'm just saying that's how they talk about it in like psychology and stuff. How like with that thing with like Rapunzel where she was kept in that tower. Oh, you want to leave the tower? You hate me, don't you? That's how abusers keep their victims like in line. Is like accuse them constantly of things. So like that's basically what they're doing, is they're trying to keep them in line by accusing them. Like, oh, you don't want to add more characters? We want you to add. Oh, you hate this. You don't have a character that's wearing a blue shirt. You must hate people with blue shirts. It's like, okay, I'll add a person with blue shirt.
Right.
You don't have any people with glasses here? You must hate people with glasses. Okay, we'll add a person with glasses. As soon as you add everything they want, you forgot what you were writing the story about to begin with, because you were so far away from the original story.
But here's the difference between, like, Japanese products and our products. Like, when we go about, in our country now, the past, like, I would say 5 years, Suicide Squad is a key evidence of this. Like, most of the characters, like, outside of Harley Quinn, they don't really have, like, an arcing thing. They're not, like, really the leaders of the, whatever, the Suicide Squad. Amanda Waller, Wonder Woman, and Harley Quinn are the focus characters. And then the man characters are all the jokes. Can anybody tell me, other than, like, the really disgusting jokes that Harley Quinn does, like with touching Deadshot's butt, and of course the Ivy stuff, is there any time where Harley Quinn is actually either humiliated, embarrassed, or, like, made fun of for the viewers? Amanda Waller is always seen as a strong character. Wonder Woman is seen as a strong character till she dies. And even Harley Quinn, she's always acting like that strong super feminist. When you defeat Batman, the guys actually say they're going to pick Batman up and drag him out of the Batcave, but Harley refuses any help. She has to pick him up, even though he's, like, way bigger than him. She has to prove that she is better than the men. So she tries very hard to try to lift Batman up, and when the guys snicker at her, she's like, what? It's like, well, obviously you couldn't really pick him up to begin with, but, you know, she's super female, so she can do anything. That's how we write female characters in this country. In Japan, male and female characters are represented equally. They both have a vital role to the show that they're in. The Tekken game's a perfect example. Like Jin and Ling, or Zhao Yu, or whatever her name is, like the girlfriend of Jin.
Oh, yeah, Ling,
when he is...
Oh, yeah, Sid was trying to help me remember.
I can't... Xiao Yu, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
When Jin is unconscious and he's trapped in, like, a dimension, basically think of, like, the Green Ranger, where he has to fight, like, past versions of himself in order to, you know, gain his power. Like, he is completely vulnerable, and there's all these Jack robots coming around. There is no one there who can protect Jin. And she stays behind to fight an army to keep him safe while he is, you know, getting his superpowers. Like, she doesn't have to do that. She could leave and go to safety or whatever. She stays behind and she takes on an army for him, you know? And it's not just kind of like, oh, you know, you're a sacrificial pawn. She chooses to do that because she loves him. And also, you know, Jin is very important. He has to get that angel power. So she's going to do everything she can, even though the odds are insanely against her. An American female character in any type of narrative, she would leave the male character to die. Like, she would just be like, for the greater good, or, you know, my life is more important than yours. Like, you know, they don't have that type of, like, both characters are able to be equal. They can't see that. The writers, like, for Suicide Squad and for the Spider-Man stuff, they can't see that because they can't see past their own egos. You know, they don't know how to write characters. And that's why, like, the Tekken story was so good. Like, everybody's like, why was the Tekken story so different than a lot of the American games we've had? It's because the representation between the genders is equal. Like, all the characters have something of value to the story. They're not just there to be some type of representation. They're there because they actually add weight, they add volume, and they add substance. American writers don't do that. And it's true. And now you have, because people are jealous and angry with Japan, they're trying to do the same thing they mandate to American developers. They're actually trying to get more and more companies, you know, to do this forced stuff that they want to do. They want them to change the stories. They want the females no longer to have, like, you know, attractive outfits. They don't want the men to be, like, heroes at all. Like, men are just basically to be used as stepping stone as females, like, to propel their story. You have to jump off a male character's shoulders and push him down in order to build yourself up, and Japan doesn't do that.
Are any of these females, like, that are work for Sweet Baby Incorporated, are any of them married to a man?
No.
Because, like, if you are a female and you're married to a man, then you would not, you know, you wouldn't want to write stories for men that would make them not, you know, heroic, because you want your man to be heroic and help you out when you need help.
most of them are man-hating, like, single ladies with cats or, you know, other things. They're most of them. In fact, I've looked at the profiles of Sweet Baby people on their website. Most of them are single or stuff I don't want to talk about.
I will say, like, I was watching a podcast about a lot of this trend of, like, women saying they don't need a man and stuff. It's kind of interesting because a lot of them, after they hit 50 or 40, they realize, like, that they lost all ability to have a child and, like, a family and everything, and they actually, a lot of them end up regretting it.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not what I'm meaning. I'm saying, oh, good, because he panicked in the smoke. I was like, oh, good.
No, oh, sorry, yeah, but it's, like, a huge trend now, like, all these TikTokers, like, females that are like, wow, they'll literally say on their TikTok, like, I was a feminist for decades, and I lost all the decades I could have had children and had a family, and I miss that, I'll never have that. And they're sitting here crying, and it's, like, so weird, because they're literally brainwashing young girls to try to think that they're being oppressed by thinking about being married and having a family, when that's actually something that actually, you know, brings a lot of joy to many women. It brings joy to me to be married. I feel very fulfilled being married to a man, and I feel like it's my place to be, and I'm very happy. I mean, we both work together, and we both, like, men and women have different qualities, and they make the perfect team together. Because there's things that women can do that men can, and men can do that women can't. That's why they make such a great team together.
So when people say female representation, what I think about is female characters like Chun-Li, or female characters like Lara Croft, and, you know, Samus Aran, and all these other people. I don't think of, like, anybody wants to be represented by the personality that Harley Quinn has now. Maybe Harley Quinn's old personality, people would be like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. But whenever they say for modern audiences, what people have to understand, that means they're going to punch down on the men. Like, look at how every single man in the Suicide Squad that is killed is disrespected. But the only person that actually has a death of value is Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but I find it ironic.
I'm just saying.
I find it ironic that they say modern audiences, because, no offense, but it's like, I mean, if women hate men, there's no way they're going to end up having any kids. So, I mean, unless they just have that in a test tube or something. Because it's like they say for modern, that modern era of them being single and hating men is not going to last for very long. It'll die out in one generation, I'm hoping. Because it's really very toxic, and it's not really conducive to the continuation of humanity, you know? Like, if everyone said that, the human race wouldn't even continue. So I'm just, like, saying this doesn't make any sense, but they're not reasonable or practical in any way. They're acting childish, kind of.
Well, of course. Can guys and gals, real quick before we continue stuff, I have to activate Hand Tied. Since I'm not allowed to do a silent takedown, can I still do ledge takedowns? Can I do great takedowns? And can I go through the wood takedowns? Or are those a no-go? Yeah. Are we going to play Multiverses when it comes back? Probably. We did enjoy Multiverses. It was fun. It's just the online aspect of it was kind of grueling.
It's odd to say for modern audiences, because obviously every feminist came from somewhere. Like, they all have parents. So obviously, you know, I mean, I'm just saying, every feminist, obviously their mothers were okay and liked men. I'm just saying, like it's not gonna, I'm just saying, it's not, they all have moms who were fine with being a mother, but they're not. It's just strange. Every feminist comes from a woman who was a mother. Like, they hate mothers, yet their own mom is a mother, mothered them. I just, do they not understand how this is working here? Like, you know, modern audiences, what are they saying? In the year 2030, no one's going to be a mother anymore? But that wouldn't make any sense. The whole population would die out. What are they talking about? They're just not being practical at all. They're They're absolutely. It's almost like a.
This
They're
room will
insane.
destroy you,
Right.
Batman.
But, you know,
I, Edward
it is what it
Nygma,
is.
have
Like,
constructed a
that's why,
cerebral
I mean,
puzzle of
I hate to
such
say this, but our
ingenuity
last bastion
that
of
I fear
sanity
you
is
will die
Japanese,
here.
like, export stuff.
Still,
Because,
don't cry.
you know, even their shows
one
today,
is
they
his.
always try to make sure that
All
the
units,
the
Batman
male
is
and
the
female
target.
characters actually add something to the story. They're not just there. They're there not just to build up the... See, what people misunderstand is they think that anime is a lot like it was in the, you know, the 80s and stuff like that, where, like, females were just used to prop up a man, which is kind of the opposite what's happening in America,
I
where
doubt
they're
you'll
using
survive for long,
males to
Batman.
prop up the
A
females.
civil
But now in
mistake will
Japanese
be
stuff,
all
you
it
have
takes.
males and females that actually
All units,
add,
Batman is the target.
you know, quality to the storytelling. Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, anime has actually evolved a little bit over the years. There's not even that much harem products as there used to be.
Well, I think like I mean, yeah, I mean like I don't know how it is in Japan, but like I'm just thinking of like a lot of like in
What just happened?
Chinese stories where everyone does kung fu and stuff like like there's powerful fighters that are female and male because a lot of people in like China practice
crap.
like martial arts and stuff, so they'd both be decent at fighting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the guy would be obviously stronger, but they would both be able to fight pretty well.
This is
But I'm just
really
saying maybe
not
that's the
good
same thing in
enough,
Japan
Cretans.
where they're, you know, they're both.
Oh,
kinda-
come on!
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of why that would be. Maybe it's just because they don't have a. Maybe because they're not
Contact.
crazy
Enemy
like the United
device found.
States. Maybe it's just normal. And I think they're just progressing normally and making good stories. We would be progressing
Target
normally
is still
and making
missing.
good stories if we didn't have all these weird.
Finally.
If we didn't have all these weird,
Casualty, my location.
you know, organizations pushing writers down.
Well, you don't need consultant agencies. Like, the worst thing, like, somebody was asking me a while ago, they were like, would you write for video games? It's like,
Switching
would
to
I
thermal.
write for a video game? Yes, but I would have conditions. My conditions is no one would be able to tell me what to do while I'm writing the story. When I'm done with the story, they can look
No
it
sign
over
of
and they can
target.
try to make changes. But if they try to change my story too much for what they asked me to write, then I would quit and they wouldn't have a story. Like, I'd take my story with me.
Yeah.
When I write stories and when I do stuff like
Even
that,
I expected
I would want to
more
be
than
left
this.
alone. Like, if
Not
I
much
was
more,
asked to
granted,
write a
but
Batman
still,
story for a comic
more
book or a video
intellectual
game,
prowess than you were
like, I
currently
would need
showing.
isolation. I would listen to the Arkham soundtrack,
All
I would
units,
immerse myself
Batman
into
is
the
the
world that
target.
I'm creating,
Switching to
and I
thermal.
wouldn't want anyone to pester me because I can't have anybody bother me when I write. When I wrote lore videos, I needed absolute, like, you know,
Vantage
just
point clear.
complete leave me
No
alone.
sign of target.
When I'm done writing, because what was happen, like, if my creative process is interrupted, I can't be creative. I can't, you know, do my stuff. I'll lose track of where I
Yeah.
was going with, you know, certain things. Like,
Anyone got
my
eyes on the
creativity
target?
can be fleeting if I get distracted. So I would never, ever work with a company like Sweet Baby or any type of consultant agency because they have no business telling me how I should write my story. The fact that they are now involved with the molecular level of video game creation, which is the narrative or the story or the storyboarding of a game, that is incredibly dangerous. And that's why Suicide Squad failed, is because they had their grubby little fingers all over the
All
story.
units, Batman is the target.
And you can tell. And they're proud of that fact. That's the problem. If the writers were actually allowed to write stuff, I don't think they would have made
Switching to thermal.
as many mistakes. Like, I literally could make a video, like, probably
Yeah.
pointing out at least 100 things that they did wrong
Vantage
with the
point clear.
characters.
No
It
sign of
probably
target.
was. They were constantly being bombarded by this consulting agency that was constantly telling them to rewrite stuff, and after a while, it probably made them so stressed out.
But think of all
And
the
so
bad
messed
things that
up.
they did. Like, look at Deadshot. They made Deadshot a stereotypical, like, hood on
Target
the
is still
street. All he
missing.
does is talk about, like, sports. He even has... That's not the worst thing. I found out that he actually has emotes with him using sports stuff. He has a basketball. He's got a football.
When that's not even written in his
It's not even anything Deadshot has ever done, but Sweet Baby Incorporated, to me, when they see a person of color, they think, oh, this person likes basketball, or this person likes
Yeah,
baseball.
But that's prejudice.
I know, isn't that
That's
wrong?
stereotyping.
Throw these fools
Isn't that...
your
Yeah,
way
that's
all
called
night,
stereotyping,
Batman.
exactly.
You will still
And the
not
Australian guy, like, I know Australian people. They don't always talk like this all the time. He sounds like
Right.
he's drunk half the
That's
time.
also stereotyping.
It's a stereotype of Australians. They do it constantly, and they think it's funny. It's like, this is what Australians are like. They look like they don't bathe, and they drink all the time. That's how they made Captain Boomerang. Like, he's literally the butt of every single joke. And they're fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, you would think the Australian government would make a statement and be like, you're extremely disrespectful to our country.
Yeah, also, like, they completely ruined the characterization of Captain Boomerang. They made him like this, you know, he hates the Flash. Like, most of the rogues, what people forget about the Flash rogues is they were true professionals. They're not like Batman's villains that, like, just hate and despise and would want to, you know, destroy Batman's corpse or take his mask or whatever. When the Flash actually died in front of Mirror Master and Captain Boomerang, I think it was in the 50s or 60s, they were actually over his corpse, and one of the rogues tried to remove the mask, and it was Captain Boomerang that said, you know, show some type of respect, mate. He says, you know, he was our you know, our foe, but, you know, we're not going to do anything to, we're going to honor the person he was. Even though this is a victorious moment for us, we're not going to go out and, you know, do all this nasty stuff to the Flash.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Because the rogues, what makes them so different is they're just kind of like professional criminals. They're just people that rob stuff. They don't actually go out of their way to be homicidal murderers, with exception to Captain Boomerang, one of them later on, who killed Tim Drake's father. But for the most part, they're just like criminals that deal with like robbing banks and stealing from people, and, you know, they don't really take hostages. They're not the same type of wackos that are Batman's rogues or some of Superman's more dangerous foes. Flash's foes, for the most part, as they showed with Dwayne McDuffie's writing in the Justice League show, a lot of them can be defeated just by like sitting down and talking to them and saying, hey, this wasn't a great idea for you to do this. Like, think about the Trickster and the Flash. Like, the Trickster actually has some type of like schizophrenia. And the Flash would actually sit down with the Trickster and be like, hey, you're wearing the suit again. Are you aware of this? And the Trickster's like, oh, no, I didn't realize that I'm actually doing this, you know? He actually cares for his villains.
Vantage point clear.
Yeah,
No sign
I mean,
of target.
I would be curious. The fact that they kind of did that stereotyping with the sports thing, I wonder if anyone who works for Sweet Baby Incorporated is a person of color.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Oh, okay, because I was like, because, you know, not everyone who's a person of color likes sports. I mean, you can't just stereotype people like that. Like, it's kind of like, I mean, that would be like, I mean, there's a lot of things that would be like saying. I'm not going to say it.
Well, the problem is, though, if you share any type of idealism the same as Sweet Baby Incorporated, you can't say anything, because if you're a man, regardless of your skin color, they're going to come after you. Like, you cannot say anything against, like, strong feminist women because you'll lose your job. Men have no protection in the industry.
But how is it strong to not be able to deal with criticism?
How is it strong not to be able to deal with criticism? It's not, but you can't tell them that.
Isn't that like a normal thing that strong people can do, is deal with criticism? Yet that's the one thing.
Like, they literally wrote in the game, there's a section dedicated to toxic masculinity written into a superhero game. Like, you cannot reason with these people.
What did it say about it?
It was Lex Luthor's bios talking about Themyscira and stuff like that, and saying how basically they created a utopia and mankind is toxic masculinity is why the world is the way it is. It's basically, it's an author like insert stuff.
And who wrote, like, supposedly that was coming from Lex?
Sweet Baby Incorporated says they wrote the bios. They did the characterization for Wonder Woman for Harley Quinn. They did the jokes between Ivy and Harley. They wrote the...
So they believe that all the problems in the whole world come from...
men.
But that's a weird thing to write in a video game, and number two, that's an evil version of philosophy to take, to just...
Link, are you throwing up?
I think he's looking...
Link?
Licking water or something.
Switching to thermal.
Link.
Vantage point clear. No sign of target.
Link? No, there's no water, Andy. I don't know where he is. He's throwing up somewhere. I didn't know he does throw up, though. That's pretty loud.
Maybe he needs water.
I don't know what he needs, but...
I'll go fill one of the water bowls.
I would watch your step. He's not. He's
Switching
either
to
upstairs
thermal.
in his bed or he's downstairs in the basement making a mess.
Oh.
Well, it was
Vantage
pretty
point
loud.
clear.
We could
No sign
hear
of
him.
target.
But I can't. I don't know where
Sorry.
he is because I thought he was drinking water because it's loud. But he's nowhere to be found. So he's either downstairs in the basement or he's up in his bed.
It's obviously like, I mean, it goes without saying, but obviously like the whole evils of mankind, or you know, human race, are obviously not. You know, it's not because of men. You know, men and women have been here for
Switching to
thousands of
thermal.
years. I mean, everyone is. I mean, I don't really think that there are. I wouldn't say that.
Vantage point
I don't know
clear.
what they
No
mean
sign
by.
of
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of bad things about that have happened in history, but there are a lot of great things that have happened in history too.
They only gloss over the bad stuff.
I mean, there's a lot of wonderful things that have happened in history. People have built buildings and created music and
I know, but honey, you can't.
overcome adversity, and every horrible thing that has happened is a way for people to rise above that and overcome that. That, I mean, I'm not
Switching
saying
to
there isn't
thermal.
bad things that have happened, but you know.
Right, but you can't reason with these people. If you give them any type of like in, they're going to take over
Vantage point
everything.
clear. No
So, I
sign
mean,
of target.
the best way for video games to go forward is like these consultant agencies. I really hope that they look at like the amount of massive refunds because they didn't get a profit, you know, and they need to prevent like these people from actually. These consultant agencies are going to be the death of the industry.
Yeah, I mean,
they
I
need to
know.
go because you don't need them. Because what you can do is you can actually talk. It's always bad
Switching
to
to
bring an
thermal.
outsider in to like look over your product, because you actually have like people of all types of walks of life in
Vantage
your
point
company
clear.
as it
No
is.
sign of
You don't need to
target.
hire some like agency that it's their job to make sure that people are mandating certain things. You could talk to the people you work with and see what they're comfortable with and what they're not. You don't have to bring in some, you know, corporation made by Arnita Sarkeesian.
Yeah, I mean, you could bring in a group of gamers and of different walks of life and different types of ethnicities and stuff, and then have them be like a.
No,
like
they
a-
actually work in your company, as
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying.
oh yeah, like have them in your
Switching
company.
to
Exactly.
thermal.
Talk to the people you work with. Do not bring in people that have nothing to do with your
Yeah,
product.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah,
Contact.
exactly. Why would you
Man down
hire
at my location.
a random consulting agency when you could just? I mean, most people in their companies already have a lot of different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even need to go out of your way to do that. I mean, there's a lot of different types of people already.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. It's just the whole. Yeah, it's very weird when, especially when people like are like, I don't know.
Now we wait.
Report. Any contact?
So the two things that we need to do is we need to get people down here to come to the grates, and then we need one person to stand here in front of this. Any of these. Unfortunately, they're not coming down here, so we're gonna have to try to force them down
Switching to
here.
thermal.
I am sorry for asking about it. It's a
That's fine.
horrible. It's a horrible thing. It kind of reminds me of
Vantage point clear.
like
No sign of target.
like I was reading. Actually, I was trying to read some ancient, like, you know, books and stuff, and one of these ancient books, I think with Plato or whatever, they were talking about all the evils of mankind came from, you know, like Pandora's
Unknown
box
device
and
located.
womankind. So
Contact.
now it's like swinging the
Enemy
other
device
way. It's
found.
like we're going back to the ancient times when, you know, people would randomly blame things on superstition. That's what it feels like they're doing. It feels like they're going back to, you know, the Dark Ages or something, where you just randomly blame one group of people for something. It's just horrible.
Yep.
Why would you do this? It's such a backward way of thinking.
Another casualty at my location.
Target
Well,
has
also
vanished.
considering like a huge portion of your audience is actually men, the fact that they've had, and it's funny, most of these games bashing men all fail. They don't succeed. Forspoken failed. Suicide Squad is having a legendary amount of refunds, which I've never seen in the industry. Actually, I've been around a long time and I've never seen this amount of refunds. I've never seen this amount of animosity, and it's funny because I mean, it's all well deserved because they
Yeah.
basically. You know, they kept prodding and prodding with all these other games,
Switching
and
to
then
thermal.
they took an icon that people loved forever. Like, the Arkham Batman's been around for 15 years, and you do that to the character's legacy just like that. And it's just like, it created like this whole firestorm that, I mean, I didn't think it would get this big. Even people that have casually played the game over the years have been outspoken about the Suicide Squad. So, I mean, this character touched millions of people around the world. You know, not just because he's Batman in the comic books, but because he was like the unstoppable Arkham Batman. And the reason why they made that Batman fall from grace is just to prove a point, like from, you know, the current type of storytelling that's apparent in video games. Like, they basically did the same thing that they did to the character from The Last of Us. But they took an even bigger character to try to do that to. And the last time, the thing is, what they thought they were going to do, they thought they were going to be able to punch down on their fans. They thought that they were going to be able to embarrass the Arkham fandom. But the Arkham fandom was so big that it crushed the Suicide Squad people. Like, they had no idea how powerful the fan base actually was, you know? Because the Star Wars fan base was kind of somewhat accepted. It became divided. Like, the people that didn't like what happened to Luke Skywalker, there were some people that didn't care. And there were some people that were very passionate about it. There are more people passionate about Arkham Batman's demise and the way it happens than I think that Rocksteady or even Warner Brothers couldn't even fathom, like, how big the audience is. It dwarfs the size of the people that actually like the Suicide Squad. The people that like the Suicide Squad are in the slim minority. Like, it's a small population of gamers that actually like the Suicide Squad and everything the Suicide Squad did. The amount of people that dislike it dwarfs them. It would be like comparing Earth to, like, a sun or something like that.
I figured out a new way for me to go to sleep. Just watch you playing Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, said Joseph West.
Ouch. I know the gameplay's boring, but I'm trying to make my commentary interesting.
Would you guys rather live in medieval times or the current timeline, says Daniel?
No.
That's a good question.
No, I would not want to live in medieval times.
I don't know.
Because
really think about it.
There was no cures for any type of illness. Any type of sickness that you got in medieval times was a death sentence, more or less. Either it would completely cripple you as a human, like meaning you would be bedridden for the rest of your life, or you would die within like a few months or a few weeks. Like, you just, any type of injury or sickness, there was no cure. So that for one I would not like.
Yeah.
The Black Death was also something that, was, not something you could escape. People were not treated with respect. The only people that were nice to each other would be nobles. So if I was in medieval times, I want to be a noble. I would not want to be a regular person off the street, because they were basically, just seen as not really human. The lords and the ladies and the higher-ups of society did not treat men and women equally.
But I'm gonna say maybe I would want to live in medieval times.
That's fine.
The reason being, I would probably die in my 30s, and I would probably have more risk of being, attacked on the road and possibly having an arrow to the knee. Possibly, if I wasn't super rich and I was a serf or something like that. Well, it depends where you are in medieval times. I mean, I guess most people think of Europe in medieval times, but all the other... I mean, who knows? I don't really know a lot about what was happening everywhere else in the world in medieval times.
People have a romanticized version of what they think medieval times was, but, like, we have seen from history that it was not all fun and games.
I will say, I think I would want to live in a time that was not all fun and games, wherever it was in the world. Whatever country it was, when people didn't have clean water, when people didn't have the ability to have this safety in computers. I think I would want to live during that time, because everything that people did during that time meant more. Like, if you were, stuck on the side of the road and bandits were trying to kill you and attack you and someone saved your life, they really would have saved your life. There was no police officer that was going to come by. There were no security cameras. That person literally would have saved your life. Every action almost meant more back then because there was so much more danger and so much more ways that you could die or be mistreated, or like everything you did, it was like you it was so much more potential for evil to happen, and that's why good, I feel like it was so much more important for people to talk about chivalry and heroes and stuff back then, because it was so important for people to stand up and do the right thing, because there was probably many people not doing the right thing because there's so much way to take advantage of people that are weak.
I mean, the time of chivalry was much later on. Like, most of medieval times was, like, if you were a peasant, if you were someone who was not of high society, like, your life was bad.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in every time, whether I'm in a barbarian society or, you know, tribal or clans or an ancient kingdom that doesn't have running water or that does, or whatever, I would be very interested to live back then, because even if it was more dangerous or something, I probably would be kicking myself in the foot, like, why did I ask myself to come back here? But I think it would be very interesting because everything would mean more. You wouldn't have this, for instance, the stuff that we're dealing with now, where everyone's worried about everyone's feelings. You really wouldn't be worried about that so much when you're literally, you know, every, for instance, like, I will explain, when, basically, like, you know, when death is on the line all the time, everything that people say and do, you have to know, like, you know, somebody saves your life and they're a trusted friend, you know, they're your friend, like, that's going to be a closer friend than if you just meet them in the school cafeteria and you're not sure if they secretly hate you or not. If they would save your life on the road from bandits or something, you would know that person was your friend. Like, they would risk their entire life for you.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff didn't happen very much.
But it happened enough because the fact that society is still standing today means that in every single age, in every single country, in every single area of the world, there were good people, and that good outweighed the bad eventually. Because look at the society we have now, where people are a lot more safe. There's security cameras, people aren't being literally just killed all the time, just traveling from one town to the other. Okay, maybe now people are, depending on...
Things have gotten more violent in the past 5 years.
In the 80s, people weren't getting killed all the time.
That's not... we're not in that time period anymore.
I'm just saying, like, it used to be very, extremely violent. And in some countries, it still is, actually. In some areas of the world, mercenaries are coming through towns and just killing people left and right. And you never hear that on the news, ever. Like, there's literally so much violence going on in the world right now. You never hear that on the news, but it's true.
Get to your point, sweetheart.
I'm just saying, I think it would be really interesting, because when I was younger, I grew up in a bad neighborhood, and there were some people that possibly saved my life.
Anyone got eyes on the
target?
target?
And I remember I knew they were my friend, and it was a friendship that was much deeper than I had ever had a friendship with anyone ever before. It wasn't about if I disagree with them on everything or I agree.
I've got visual on the target. I see Batman.
Like a, you know, a true friendship. You know, you like have a bond with someone.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Wrap up.
I'm done. I'm just saying. I think everything would mean more back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would want to live back when it was more dangerous, because at least people wouldn't have petty arguments like they do now.
No, they had petty arguments. They would just stab each other. Like
well, at least the argument would be over then.
Yeah, technically.
And it wouldn't continue anymore. Because I really hate petty arguments. I really hate how society is now, where everyone's always arguing, and it's frustrating.
Because it was lawless times.
Yeah, but I think I prefer that.
Okay.
I prefer people to be straightforward. Of course, not everyone was straightforward.
Oh, shoot.
I've got visual on the target.
I'm so distracted.
I see Batman.
Well, I'm sorry for distracting you.
You don't need to go upstairs.
Yes, I am, because I'm distracting you and I feel embarrassed. And yet again, you didn't tell me when to stop.
I was trying to. Yes, I do. I was trying to get you to, you know. Watch your step, Amber. I'm pretty sure that he did stuff either on the stairs or in his bed, so watch where you step, honey.
Oh, this is very exciting. Who
No,
will win?
people heard the cat before.
Obviously, that will be me. So, who will lose first? You or the rats
You
running
can
that
make a
maze
use
like
of the
their
higher
lives
walkway
depend
where
on
the
it?
guards can't go. What higher walkway?
All units.
What higher walkway? I don't remember there being a higher walkway. Are you pulling my chain, or are you for real? I don't remember a higher walkway.
Explosive prime.
Oh, shoot.
Target spotted.
Nah.
Target neutralized.
Doesn't seem like you're sleepy at all.
I'm not sleepy
This
at
is
all.
hardly a surprise.
Thank you for
I
the...
always
How about
knew
living
I
in
was
the
better
Wild
than you.
West? I mean, it'd be a little better because there's some type of medicine. People's life expectancy is much longer than 30. But I mean, it's still kind of a lawless period. Above the room Hugo Strange was in? How do you get in there? I don't think I've ever done that. How do you get inside the room that Hugo Strange is in? I have no idea how to do that.
Don't make me hurt you.
You would have been cool to Aquaman as a boss? What do you mean?
Okay, JVat says,
Let's see how you microscopically brain automatons
How do you get
perform.
up above? I've never
I'm
done
not
that.
expecting great things.
All
I have no idea how to do
Batman is
that.
the target.
You can grapple above it?
I mean, you said, what do you mean safe? There's gun shootings all the time. Well, it's on the news. It's not happening every day next to me.
Oh.
There's people that live in villages right now that basically people come through, and then a month later mercenaries come through and kill a bunch more people. There's children in different parts of the world that have seen violence their whole life. They've seen, like, their family members die in front of them.
Yeah.
You are the
Argentina
best.
and
How unfortunate for me
not
to
the
have to
Philippines,
rely on
Venezuela,
you
and a
to
couple
give
other
this
places
done
are
to
like
you.
not very
Thankfully, you
safe
still
places
have me to guide
Compared
you.
to
compared to
Without my
America.
help, I would
compared
already
to
have
most
lost.
countries that are, you know, have some kind of law and order,
All
depending
units.
on where you
Batman
live.
is the target.
There are countries in the world that have complete, like, there's no control over anything. There are places in in different continents that do have that. I know because my aunt sponsored a child in Rwanda for many years, and mercenaries came through and killed members of the person's family over and over again. It happened several times, and they had seen people slaughtered. By the time they were 8, they had seen like hundreds of people slaughtered right in front of them.
Yeah, it started like you
It's-
guys are too young to remember this, but Venezuela went through so many changes. I had a family friend who their job, they were missionaries in Venezuela. They had to flee the country because they were abducting missionaries and executing them. Like, there was pretty bad times.
And,
You also have countries that are controlled by cartels and all kinds of stuff.
And most of our grandfathers and grandparents,
All units,
like
Batman is the
in the
target.
United States and other countries, were involved in World War II and other wars. So, I mean, this, you know, right now we only have, you know, people volunteer to be in the army, but we haven't had the draft in a long time.
We haven't had the draft since Vietnam.
But we have not really had any army come on the United States soil since, you know.
We haven't been invaded for a long
Actually,
time.
there has been violence here, obviously, and there was, you know, wrongdoings in this country, and civil war, obviously, but, you know, like, having someone invade, we've never been invaded. So, I mean, you guys don't really understand how difficult it could be to have an army come march through your, you know, I think that if you don't understand what you mean by violence, then you'd
Oh,
have
shoot.
you'd have to actually
visual on
experience it. And
Batman.
once you did, you'd have post-traumatic stress, and you wouldn't be casually
Dial,
talking
dial,
about it after
dial
that.
back.
But I think once you experience the kind of violence other people have experienced, you wouldn't be joking around about it anymore.
Is on the move.
So yes, there are countries in the world that are not as protective of their citizens
Are
as the
you
United
feeling
States
the
is.
pressure?
There are shootings in
All units.
big
Batman
cities,
is the target.
but everyone in that big city, I mean, they could move further away from the city to be a little bit safer if they wanted to. Just saying.
Target is still missing.
There's not big shootings all the time though.
Yeah, it's not like all the time. Like you walk through the street and it's everywhere all the time. Like you have to dodge bullets trying to get to the grocery store or the coffee shop. I grew up in a town where there were
Anyone got
shootings,
eyes on the
so
target?
I don't know who's talking about shootings, but I actually grew up where there were people getting shot all the time right next to me. I heard bullets going off right near my house.
Yep.
So I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so we have. Oh yikes!
Oh, this is very exciting. Who will win? Well, obviously that will be me. So, who will lose first? You
Okay.
or the rats running that maze like their lives
Same
depend
here,
on it?
Amber. Yep.
What I'm saying is most of
All
us
units.
in this
Batman
chat
is the target.
can go to the grocery store without thinking that we're going to get killed on the way. That's what I mean by safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by safe. And most of us, that can happen. We can most of us can make it to the grocery store and back without dying. Thank you for the super chat, Alpha.
Anyone
Says,
got
how
eyes
about
on
living in the
target?
Wild West, LOL. It felt like the Wild West when we first got onto YouTube, but of course we couldn't get shot, so... Yeah, the Wild West was pretty intense, actually. That would be a really scary place to live. Thank you. Some people can't afford to move, that's true, but... I mean, they could... I mean, it is possible if they were able to get the money.
Are you
because-
scared?
I mean...
All units. Batman is the target.
To blow people up. How am I going to do that? They placing mine?
I mean, if you lived in ancient times where there was violence everywhere, you couldn't move out of ancient times. So at least in modern day, it is a possibility you can move, you just need the money to.
There's no bombs up here. Did I already use my thing? Darn. That would be an ample opportunity.
Anyone
to do
got eyes
something.
on target?
Place mine. Mine? No mine? I didn't know I could come up here. This makes life so much easier. Like, this room was always so challenging for me because it's like I could never see the enemy placement, and there's literally some place I could actually climb up here. I wish I knew about this sooner, because I always dread coming to this predator area. Because it's nasty. But,
This is really not good
really
enough,
not good enough,
Cretans.
Cretans. Yep.
All units. Batman is the
I
target.
need them to place a mine, though. They're not placing a mine. If they place a mine, then I can blow them up. I think. Mine your step. Yeah, I have to detonate a mine on people.
Contact. Enemy device found.
You can see, look at them, they're all right here. There's two guys right there.
Contact. Enemy device found.
But Mr. Mine is not setting up a mine.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat, Alpha. I really appreciate that.
Is he standing by a staircase? Oh gosh, there were two of them right there. Alright. Linky's purring. What am I gonna do here?
Target is still missing.
I need to take down one more of these guys, but I think I already took down the guy who lays mines. So nobody's laying mines. Grrr. I think I accidentally took down the mine guy. Yeah, I did. Shoot, look.
Contact. Enemy
Right
device
there on his
found.
chest, he was the mine guy. Oh, that means I failed. Yep, I failed. Because there's no mines. Unless, did you guys see anybody else who has mines on their chest, or no? Is there another? Or was there only one? That just looks like a heart monitor.
I hate this room, says Joseph like. I just beat the main game again.
Yeah, I failed. The reason I failed is because I don't see anybody else who has a mine equipment on them, so that's it. Yeah, he's the only guy. Alright, we failed. Okay, well, there's no point doing this anymore, because, not gonna happen. So we'll try this again another time, because we actually have a YouTube short going up at 11. There's only one mine guy, and I messed up, so... That means we fall on our sword, and that was not a successful thing today. The challenge has defeated us today, but there's not much that can be done about it. So there's going to be another stream tonight at 11. I mean, 11:40 or 11:30. I'm going to try to eat some dinner.
Yeah, there's salad.
Mr. Freeze dialogue was glitched in the Harley gameplay. Brainiac talks about him.
J-Bat says he wanted us to have his book.
His book.
He wants us to get a free copy of his book.
He wants to give us a copy of his book? That's sweet.
Thank you, J-Bat. I'm sorry. That's why I came back to the mic, because I saw your comment and I was going to say something to Luke, but I completely forgot what I was saying. So, thanks again, Alpha, for the super chat, and thank you, J-Bat. I will try to get Luke to, like, maybe message him on Twitter or social media.
Yep.
Or find a way to just tell us in the comments how you can. What's the best way to message us? Okay. Or try to message us on one of our social media.
Alright, guys, it's that time again. It is 11 o'clock. That means there's a YouTube short. I need you guys to go raid the YouTube short and leave a comment on that YouTube short and tell us what you think about Zelda the Cat. It is a 30 or 40 second YouTube short. Just head on over there and leave a comment, smash that like button, and try to push that short up so we can kind of push the views up on the channel tonight. That would be a big help to us. I'm putting the link in now. And the short is now live. The short is live.
No. It's gonna be 11 our time. It's 11 our time. It's 11 Eastern time.
Yeah.
Is when we're streaming. So that's not in an hour. It's coming up right now.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock now, so in about 30 minutes will be the next live stream. So 30 minutes, just head on over to the YouTube short. Yeah.
No, it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock where we are.
Yeah.
So it's happening in a half an hour.
Yeah, I just said a half hour. So just head over to the YouTube short, guys, and give it some love. It'll help us out a lot, so we can kind of like prep for the PlayStation stream. And thank you guys for watching the Batman stuff. I didn't really accomplish much in it, but I had a lot of fun. And we got to talk about stuff, and Linky came and hung out with us. He's not feeling too well, though. His nose is kind of wet. So he's probably not feeling good. So yes, next stream will be in 30 minutes, and it's on Lunar. So there will be another Arkham stream tomorrow, because this stream got 1,000 views. So that's kind of what we do with streams. As long as they get 1,000 views, we continue them. Ace Attorney needs some love as well, because Ace Attorney is only at... where is Ace Attorney? Ace Attorney is at... Episode 12 is under 900 views still. It's at 880 views. So it needs 1,000 views by the morning. So it needs about 200 views still, I think, is how math works for that. And yeah. So I will see you guys on the next stream. You have the link to the short. Go give it some love. Go raid it. Raid the short. And see you guys on Lunar.
Thanks so much for watching. See you guys on the next stream, and have a great night, those of you guys who need to go get to bed. But we'll see a lot of you guys over on the next stream.